Hi everyone, I'm Steven.
大家好，我是 Bernice.
Welcome to Enjoy English, and today's date is October 9th. We're on day 2, looking at pages 18 to 21 under the origins.
我们今天进入到我们的追根究底第2天的课程了。
Yes, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday.
对，记得一定要喊3次，才是表示你在紧急救援了。
A call for help, not for fun.
这是真的要求人家来帮助你，并不是跟你觉得好玩的啦。
Did you always know why we say Mayday? Do you know the
对啊，
reason?
就像有时候我们看那个就是一些战争片，也会说 Roger that, Roger that. Who is Roger?
Yeah.
一开始我会觉得 Who is Roger?
That might be a good idea for like another lesson,
Yeah, right.
But today, it's if you're in danger, why do we say Mayday? Let's find out.
好的。
Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. Even though the Mayday call is widely used, the origin of this word is not well known. Some people may also wonder why Mayday is used instead of other words like help or emergency. So, how did the word Mayday come to be used in emergencies? Before the use of radios on ships and planes, people relied on telegraph to send the letters SOS when they faced danger. In Morse code, SOS is written as 3 dots, 3 dashes, and then 3 dots again. It was quick to type and easy to understand. However, once radio became the standard, these letters were often hard to hear clearly because the signal could be weak or noisy. As a result, a new way to call for help was needed. The word Mayday was first used in the 1920s for flights between London and Paris, one of the busiest flight paths at that time. The term came from the French phrase M'aider, which means help me. It was short and easy to hear over the radio. Pilots were told to repeat the word 3 times so that it would be heard correctly. The United States started using Mayday in 1927, and it soon became the standard word for emergencies around the world.
Even though the Mayday call is widely used, the origin of this word is not well known.
我们现在就要赶快来学一下它的 origin 了，它的起源在哪了？他就说了 even though， 也就是 although， 就是虽然的意思啦。虽然这个我们知道 Mayday 的这样的一个求救的这个呼叫呢，其实是 widely， 所以记得用副词来修饰那个 used 被使用，它其实是相当广泛的来被使用。可是我们中文可以讲可是，英文就不要再 but 了哈。好，后面就说了，它的这个来源呢，就是 Mayday 这个字的这个来源呢，其实 not well known， 不是那么多人熟知的。
So that adverb widely, we know things that are wide, the adjective means 很广, right?
对。
So widely is used a lot. Okay, so another word you could use, the 2 words is a lot, right? So even though the Mayday call is used a lot, but widely, we would think the opposite of that is narrowly, right?
Yeah.
But we don't say that. It's narrowly used.
No.
We don't say that, okay? So make sure you don't think, oh, if we can say widely used as being used a lot, can I say narrowly used? No, you cannot. The opposite of that would, the word that you can use instead is hardly. Okay, even though the Mayday call is hardly used, that would mean that it's not used a lot.
Yeah, 几乎不太被用。所以
Yeah.
你的相反字不能直接用 narrow 狭隘狭窄的那一个字。
学英文很简单耶。Sometimes I know it's not always going to make sense. It's not always going to be easy. But the more you practice, the easier it will get. I
是的。
guarantee you that.
是的。
Okay. Some people may also wonder why Mayday is used instead of other words like help or emergency.
对，我们如果在看这个一般的这种除了军队里面的这种战争片之外啦， 你就不会看到有人喊 Mayday，好像一定要发生在这个就是我们刚刚讲的飞机啦，或者船上，你才会听到这样。所以他这边呢，就是下面这个句子，他就说了，有些人可能就觉得很好奇了 ，wonder， 就是说你觉得你很想要知道这件事情，为什么 Mayday 这样的一个求救的这个呼叫呢是被使用的？为什么大家都用 Mayday、instead of， 而不是 rather than？而不是用 other words 其他的一些字啊，比如说你要求救就叫 help 就好了嘛，就像公主要叫王子来救她的时候，公主不会说 Mayday， 可能没有王子要来救，对不对？或者你就直接说 emergency， 对不对？直接说紧急事件发生了，为什么不用这两个字呢？
Right. And in this sentence, because we've talked about this in other lessons as well, you could take out the word people. You could say some may also wonder, okay? It's just here, we just wanted to add it in. Wonder, that verb is used a lot in the English language. It just means like you think about. Yeah, it makes you think about it. Like I wonder, 我去想象, right? I wonder why. So some people may wonder why Mayday is used instead of other words like help or emergency. In this situation, when I read it, I might kind of stop before help and emergency because they're in quotes, right? I read it like is used instead of other words like help or emergency. Okay, that kind of helps you understand that I'm pointing out these two words because these are words that I'm kind of that I'm specifying right now. Okay, 会特别指出来的字，我们就会用 quotation 来punctuate 它。So, how did the word Mayday come to be used in emergencies?
好啦，所以刚才我们讲了，为什么不是喊 help 呢？为什么不是喊 emergency 呢？所以呢 ，so 那么应该翻成那么。这个 how did the word 到底如何这个字 Mayday 这个字是怎么来的呢？后来我们就拿来被使用在这些所谓的紧急讯号里面呢。记得我们这个字这个句子我们来用 did， 因为我们它使用已经早就开始广泛被使用了嘛，所以呢我们要问的是它的起源，它的由来，所以你要用的是 how did， 要用过去式。
Come to be used. How did it come to be used? How did we start using it? Is another way that you could say that. All right, let's take a short break.
好的。
Before the use of radios on ships and planes, people relied on telegraph to send the letters SOS when they faced danger.
SOS 大家就非常非常的熟悉了，这样的一个用法了。所以呢，现在第二段我们就要开始来讲解，到底大家后来为什么选择 Mayday 这个字成为紧急的这个求救的讯号呢？就是因为呢，在这些所谓的 radio 这些无线电。这个船上的无线电，或者是所谓飞机上的无线电，在他们开始出现之前呢，大部分我们的人呢 rely on， 它的原型是 rely，rely on 就是表示你是依靠、依赖的意思。当然你也可以用 depend on，depend on。我们主要那个时候呢是依靠所谓的telegraph 就是传电报，哒哒哒哒哒哒这样子，好，然后去 send 去把这些所谓的字母寄出去。那因为你要求救嘛，总不可能按一串的字，那来不及了，所以就是按 SOS。尤其是当人们呢面临到所谓的危险的时候。
Right. So I do like how the author here is saying faced danger, right? Because in the lesson yesterday, we said are in danger. In danger or in serious danger.
Yeah.
This is just another way. Like they're facing danger.
Yes.
Okay. 面临危险. And also, I want to call attention to the word use. Okay, before the use of radios on ships and planes. It's spelled exactly like how it would be in the verb form. Right? But in the verb form, it's pronounced a little bit differently. Use and use. Okay, so when it's in the verb form, there's more of a Z sound. Okay, I use a lot of tissues because I have allergies. Use. Right? But here, it's the use of radios. It's being used as a noun, so it has more of an S sound.
是的。
Okay, just a little detail. In Morse code, SOS is written as 3 dots, 3 dashes, and then 3 dots again.
好，接下来就要回到摩斯密码的时代了。所以呢，他说在摩斯密码的里面呢，这个 SOS 这3个字，我们要怎么把它按出去呢？他说，当你按的时候呢，它写出来是 written， 就是它这个写出来的这个方式呢，主要是3个点，然后接下来是3条线，好 ，dash 就是3条横线，然后接着再3个点，所以就是3点、3线、3点。
Yeah, and then 3 dots again, okay?
Yeah.
And Morse code is going to be capitalized because it's the name of that system,
是的。
okay? Morse code. And I pronounce WRITTEN as written, okay? Like we've talked about this in other lessons as well. When there's hard T sounds in the middle of a word, a lot of times native English speakers will kind of swallow that T sound. We go written, okay? But a lot of people can pronounce it written, okay? Either of these are acceptable, but that's just the difference between the way that we pronounce things.
是
Okay, and SOS, I don't know if most people are familiar with it. 3 dots is like da da da, and then da 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 da. Yeah, so the da da da, the long sound is what we call the dash. Okay, and the short sounds are what we call the dots.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you see it like written down, it really looks like 3 periods, and the dashes are like the M dash, like a long line. Okay, so that's what they look like. It was quick to type and easy to understand.
就是因为呢，我们刚才讲了这个哒哒哒这样的一个方式呢，因为它很快，你就可以把它这样子打出来，用那个摩斯密码打出来，而且呢，人家一听就很容易听到哦，有哒哒哒3个短的，然后长的再短的，就知道哦，你有 help， 你需要人家帮助了。
However, once radio became the standard, these letters were often hard to hear clearly because the signal could be weak or noisy.
可是后来呢，随着这个 however， 你又看到这个字了。不过然而呢，一旦当这个 radio 就是所谓的无线电呢，成为了这种 standard。这边的 standard 是当名词，就是大家通用的这样的一个模式，这个标准的设备之后呢，那么刚才我们讲的这个 SOS 这样的这些字母呢，就很难被人家能够听得很清楚。主要的原因是什么呢 ？Because the signal， 因为它发出来这个讯号呢，有的时候你可能会觉得太弱了，好，你就听到这样哒哒哒这个声音，所以有点太过于弱了。甚至如果你后面有一些所谓的声音的时候，你的背景有声音，他会觉得说，你里面可能有点 noisy， 有一些杂音在里面。
Right, and a lot of times I have students that say, "But I thought once meant 一次."
哦，对，那个是一次的意思，当副词。
Yeah, but here usually when it's in the beginning of a sentence, it means the moment,
Yeah.
right? So the moment radio became the standard, okay? But if you put once at the end of a sentence, usually that means 一次.
对，因为我们 once 放在最前面是当连接词，所以就等于像 when 怎么样发生的。那你 once 放在最后面就是副词了。
Yeah. What does it mean to be the standard? That means like what typically people do, or typically people what people typically use at that time. The standard at the time. Okay. These letters were often hard. That T sound, I'm making it silent, so that's a choice that I make. Were often hard to hear clearly. So I like having that adverb there, clearly. Because if you just said we're often hard to hear because the signal could be weak or noisy, that's acceptable. But clearly is just kind of painting the picture a little bit clearly, more clear to help you understand that you could still hear it, but it's just not so clear. Okay? As a result, a new way to call for help was needed.
As a result， 就是我们常常讲的 therefore， 因此呢，我们的人们啊就需要一个新的方法啦。因为你会觉得，这些刚才的 SOS 发出来这个信号呢，有一点微弱，甚至呢会有一些吵杂音在里面。因此呢，就有一个新的方法，好，要来这个发现出来了，来需要呢 for help， 尤其是针对这些求救的这些方法就被需要了，所以用 was needed， 用被动式。
And I do like how this author used this paragraph to kind of spend time to talk about what came before Mayday. it's kind of talking about the history before the word Mayday was used universally. So then here at the end of this paragraph, it's kind of introducing that there is a new way to call for help that was going to be created. So it's a really well-written paragraph, and we know the next paragraph is going to be talking about the word Mayday.
Yeah.
Right? All right, let's take a short break.
Okay.
The word Mayday was first used in the 1920s for flights between London and Paris, one of the busiest flight paths at that time.
好啦，所以接下来呢，最后一段就要开始讲它的时间点了。这个 Mayday 的使用的时间点呢，其实它最早第一次被使用的时间点呢，是在1920年代的时候啊。然后主要呢就是 for flights， 就是当时呢会有一些很多的航班啦，然后这些航班主要他们是飞在伦敦跟巴黎之间的这一些航班。为什么是伦敦跟巴黎？为什么不是其他的城市呢？因为这一条航线呢是这么多 busiest 最忙碌的这一些 flight path， 这个字呢就是 route， 就是飞机飞的那个路线，route， 就这么多的飞行路线里面最忙的其中一条这一条路线之一。At that time， 就是在1920年那个年代最忙碌的其中之一，就是伦敦跟巴黎之间的这条航线。
And because you mentioned the word route, R-O-U-T-E, some people pronounce it route.
Yeah.
Both of these are acceptable. Okay, I say route, but a lot of people say route. Okay, so that's something to call to your attention. Also, in that first sentence, we see that verb used. Okay, I'm using it with that Z sound because it's being used as a verb. Okay, so it's just something to pay attention to as well. The term came from the French phrase m'aider, which means help me.
好。那为什么你说老师从伦敦巴黎，那他们讲的有英文啊，也有法文啊，对不对？所以呢这边就告诉你呢，为什么会出现这样的一个 term， 这样的一个专有的这个说法呢？主要它是来自法语的这一个字。好，那法语的这个字的意思 which， 我们知道这边的 which 要加逗点，因为它特别，你看它前面有一个 quotation 告诉你这是一个专有的 term， 所以他就讲说这个 which 呢主要的意思呢就是说救人啊救人啊，帮帮我吧，好，所以就是这个意思。
And I do apologize for my pronunciation of that French phrase. So a lot of times if you're not too sure how to say something, like I would say the term came from the French phrase, and pardon my French, m'aider, which means help me. Okay, but pardon my French, actually, we use that term when we're about to say like a cuss word or a bad word in English. It's just
他们要说脏话的时候了。
Yeah, we're like, oh, pardon my French, and we say a bad word. That's what we usually use it for. But here I'm literally saying, pardon my French, which means 请原谅我的法文不是那么的标准。Why do we say pardon my French before we say bad words? Is because I don't know. I think it's just an American culture thing where a lot of us don't understand French or don't know how to speak French.
所以搞不好法国人要说脏话的时候
Like, pardon my American English.
可能会这样。
That would be wonderful if they did have that joke. But yeah, we do say pardon my French, and then we follow it with some bad words that we should not learn. Okay? All right. So yeah, pardon my French. My French is really bad. It was short and easy to hear over the radio.
因为呢，你看我们就讲 help me， 就是刚才老师念的这个法文呢，其实它非常非常的简短，而且呢，我们很容易呢透过这个 radio 就很容易的听清楚啦。
When we say that we hear things like over the radio, we use that preposition over the radio.
Yeah.
Okay, so just make sure you know that. Okay, pilots were told to repeat the word 3 times so that it would be heard correctly.
那为什么刚才我们讲 Mayday 这个字你要连续说3遍呢？他这边就开始解释啦。他说呢，这些 pilots 就是这些飞行人员呢，他们被指示说呢，你要重复 Mayday 这个字呢，一定要怎么样3次？为什么要3次呢 ？So that 这个样子的话呢，你这个 Mayday 的这个 it 就是指这个 Mayday 的这个求救的这个讯号呢，才能被我们听见，也就是这个紧急 急救援的单位才会听得见，而且是怎么样的听见呢 ？Correctly 又出现一个副词来形容你那个 heard 被听见的状态是正确无误的。
Oh, so that really does make sense because Mayday is very quick. You can say it very quickly. So if in case the signal is weak, it's short enough maybe to be heard. And if you say it 3 times, maybe 1 time or 2 times might be unclear because of the weak signal, but at least one will get through. So I think it's a good system to have. The United States started using Mayday in 1927, and it soon became the standard word for emergencies around the world.
好，那么到了美国呢，则是1927年，那个时候才开始用 Mayday 这样的一个求救的这个信号。一样呢，我们还是要用过去式，所以你的 start 还是要加 ed。那我们刚才讲的 start 后面你要加 to 啦，或者加 ing 都可以，所以是开始使用了，因为它已经是一件事实了嘛，哈，所以我们就用 ing 是比较好的。所以我们已经开始使用，在美国是在1927年，而且呢 it 这个 it 就是指呢这个 Mayday 这样的一个求救的这个讯号呢，也很快的 soon 呢就变成了一个 standard word。又看到一次 standard 了，这就刚才老师讲的这个英文字啊，有的时候也是蛮讨厌的。又是名词，又是动词，又是形容词，又是什么都可以卡在一个字。好，所以这时候的 standard， 刚才前面一段我们讲的 standard， 它是一个名词，
Yes.
这边就是变一个形容词啦，所以就变成了一个大家规范通用的一个字了。对于什么东西呢 ？For emergencies， 就是如果有发生一些紧急的状况，而且是 around the world， 全球都是用这个字。
And you pronounce that word very well. World. Yeah, it's so difficult for a lot of people to pronounce that word,
是的。
especially when the word word is in this sentence as well. Okay, so word, W-O-R-D, word. It's kind of pronounced like an E-R, word. But here, world, 地球, make sure your tongue kind of comes out. World. Okay, make sure that tongue comes out and then goes back in. World. Before you end it with a D. A lot of times in English words, when there's a hard ending to a word, a lot of students will want to make that ending very hard. They want to elongate it. But actually, it's just kind of like the period of the word. It's like a short stop. You just know how the word stops. So it ends with a sound. So world. Okay, very short D sound. And then make sure that L, the tongue comes out, comes back in before you end it with a D. So go whirl, and then world. Okay, and that's how you make that sound come out beautifully. Just practice it because it does get confusing, especially when that word is in that sentence. Yeah.
对，其实我们因为这个应该是这么说，我们讲中文啦，好，或者是甚至讲日文的同学，因为我们的这个发音很少有像刚才美国人他们这种发音，就是那个 L 的音是往上飘的这样的一个音啦，所以很多人觉得老师我把舌头这样子，这样好看吗？这不是很奇怪吗？你就会因为你有这样的一个感觉，所以你就越来越不敢发那个 O 的那个音，不管说那个 L 是在字尾，还是甚至在字中，你都会觉得那个字很难发。可是就像刚刚 Stephen 老师讲，你慢慢的去模仿他们 native speaker 是怎么讲的，然后你慢慢的大胆一点的把你的舌头就这样子秀出来给大家看不用整个舌头，你这样子慢慢的你的发音就会变得很漂亮了。
Yes. So hopefully, even though we learned a lot about the origins of the word Mayday, we hope you will never need to use it.
No.
Okay, please be safe in everything you do. But if you are ever in danger, what do you say? Mayday, Mayday, Mayday.
3 times.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.